Hey folks, so welcome to my review of the CCA CRA Plus. In reality, they should have called it something a little bit different because it sounds quite different to the original CRA. But anyway, you can tell the difference because it's got like a gold back and obviously it says CRA Plus. And yet, as usual, full disclaimers, this is actually sent out to me by KZ, so thank you very much. I do appreciate it a lot. I was not paid to do this video and all thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, it's single DD like the original, and let's just get into it. So stronger energy to bass, which is right, it's got more mid bass. I've actually been using these. Wider frequency response than ever for more sound details. They do a very good extension, and it says there, better Soundstage to treble extension. Nothing really there, nothing really there. So specs, mine's the no mic, which you'll see in a bit. So 3.5mm plug type, pin type's 0.75. That's always what KZ and CCA do. 20Hz to 40 kHz, so it's massive range. Resistance is 23.5 ohms and sensitivity is 110.68. Like I said, it's basically the same as the EDX Ultra, which I've done recent. Obviously, they're not missing because I've been using them. I'll just show them now. So you obviously gold. I'm not really keen on that. Construction seems the same as before. Obviously, it's inexpensive build, but the quality is good enough, shall we say. Obviously, it's the normal one, but yeah. I prefer, not really keen on the gold. That's what they look like. That's the kind of tips it comes with. The kind of star line, you can see the little ridges, but it's a bit different. So here, obviously, if you know KZ products and CCA products, they're always kind of the same. Let's get this out. Oops. So you get the user guide as per usual. In here is small and large tips, but the same as what's fitted. And this should be the normal run-of-the-mill cable. So let's have a look. Again, no mic. I always prefer no mic because it's, like I've said a million times, there's just less to go wrong. So yeah, the normal kind of cable. Nice to show really, I've shown it a few times, but obviously their own connector, and obviously right angled, which I do like as well for the 3.5. No mic, obviously. And that's pretty much it. So I'm not going too long. Obviously, I've already been listening to these, and yeah, so into the review. Hey folks, and welcome to my actual review section of the CCA CRA Plus. And yes, these are gold, which is a bit obnoxious, but that's what they are. And yeah, and they do pick up fingerprints easily, but that's what it is like. Anyway, yeah, let's get on to just the build and looks really. So these are the same as the non-plus model, apart from the gold. Very small, and that's it really. Obviously they're built on the affordable side, but the actual build quality itself, the construction seems fine. Obviously these are single DDs. And that's it really. So let's talk about power and sensitivity. I have no issues with these. I don't normally with DDs I never have any issues. Also, that's the tuning method they've probably used for this model. So it's kind of dense, and obviously it works because they're getting better with the tuning, and I can't get that on. I've done it. So yeah, so that works fine. So let's talk about actual details. So micro details, I found was very good as well. Yeah, works very good compared to the original model. The original was very good as well. When I changed the really thin micron kind of dynamic drivers, obviously it worked, and it works for this as well. This has got more treble extension, but I'll get to in a bit. But micro details I thought was very good. Before continuing, I want to talk about price. Now I don't get why this is like $30 or just under, and the EDX Ultra, which is very similar to this, is $10 less. I don't get why it's a premium because it's essentially kind of the same kind of product. But it is what it is. There's nothing they can do unless the price changes. You know, it is what it is. So imaging, I thought the imaging was very good. I didn't really try this. By the way, I don't really try this for gaming because a lot of people use IEMs for gaming these days. I don't, but for imaging in music seems fine. Soundstage was wide as it kind of expected because it's got the high kind of psychoacoustics from the extended treble, so it sounds bigger. I was quite happy with it. It's amazing what kind of value for money you get these days, really. But yeah, I was very happy with it. So let's talk about the timbre. Timbre or tonality, whatever you want to call it, I was quite happy with it. It can sound a bit kind of fake because it's kind of got a boosted treble, which you'll see in a bit. But it's still, obviously, for the price, it's still good. They got very good technical performance, which I was very happy with. So let's just talk about sound. So I've overlaid the graph now, and I'll overlay the graph for the original. Now these are actually quite different, so they shouldn't have really called it a plus. It's a little bit misleading because they do sound noticeably different. If it's very close, then maybe you could add a plus as like a refinement, but as you can see, the bass is very different. Obviously mine rolls off, I've said it a few times, but the original had much better sub bass I found than this one. But that only really matters if the genres you listen to have that. Some do, some don't. These are more like, these sound, well, the graph doesn't really show it, but these are more mid bass, upper bass prominent. So for electronic music, which I typically listen to, it's more impactful than the original. I think more people probably prefer more mid bass, upper bass compared to sub bass for the average kind of consumer, shall we say. But mids are a bit scooped, as you can probably tell, as you can see on the graph. I didn't have any issues with it. These are $29. They're not $300. But for people who want more prominent mid-range, these may not be for you. But yeah, now at the top of the upper mids, vocals are a little bit more forward on this than the original. I don't mind that. I like the upper mids on the original though. I was quite happy with it there. But yeah, they're kind of fine with it. They don't really shade out to me, but they are more than good enough for its projected price range. Like I said before, these days are so affordable and they perform so well compared to what they used to be. So treble is extended and it can be a little bit spicy. So obviously you can see I've overlaid the original and the plus. So they do trade blows in a few areas, but they are on the bright side. They're both very forward in the treble. They're both very clear. That means they can also be fatiguing, which these are. I found these a bit more fatiguing than the originals. As you can see, it extends like crazy amount above 8. And there's a peak at 12. Depends if you really notice that. On most of my genres, I didn't notice that. I just noted that I got a little bit fatigued just from sheer extension. Normally, like many models don't do this. So people who like air, shall we say, these are for them, like the originals. But they do kind of trade blows. Some, like the original, I kind of preferred some of the treble on the original. I do obviously appreciate extension because it makes everything more people say adds air, but I was quite happy with its technical and extension, but the fatigue might be a problem and it can sound kind of fake, kind of artificial, because it's boosting stuff that may not ultimately be there in the first place on the original recording of whatever you're listening to. But yeah, I was quite happy with it. I don't really like the 5k peak. I wish that was a bit less. I wish it was a bit more refined in the treble, but I can't really knock its sheer performance for what it is, really. But yeah, they were a good set. They should have been a little bit cheaper, but yeah, treble is very good, really. Obviously, it's not perfect, but there's a lot better than what kind of models used to be. And And yeah, really, not much to say really. It works when I'm supposed to. Everything is clear. Instruments are super clear. You have to just be wary of the amounts of treble you actually get. So yeah. So conclusion is, do I recommend these? Yes, if you can get them cheaper. And yes, they do look kind of cheap. So you want them to look, they look cheap and you want them cheaper, which makes crazy sense. But yeah, technical performance is good. The overall revised tuning may suit some people, may not suit some people. I think it'd suit more of the consumer now, because it's more bass forward, upper bass, mid bass forward than the original. The roll off in the sub bass may be less important, because depends on what genres you listen to. Vocals are a little bit more forward. That's maybe not be a bad thing. And the treble extension is obviously crazy for what these are, like the EDX Ultra. These have more of an extension than the EDX Ultra, which is crazy because they extend a lot. So maybe the extra $10 is for that, shall we say. But yeah, I do like these. They maybe need a little bit of refinement in the treble, because it can be a bit much. But yeah, on the whole, I think they are very good. Like I've said before, companies have come a long way, and the value for money these days is very good. So yeah, so if you want to know anything in particular, as usual, just let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.